This is the pit stop. Hi, I'm Tom Pitt, and for most of my life, I've driven cars where the only thing that worked on them was a mechanic, so I decided to become one. In this episode of the Pit Stop, we're going to talk to you about spark plugs, what they are, how they work, and how to replace those. Let's take a look. So today when we talk about spark plugs, we're going to incorporate the services of another automotive student. This is Jasmine Mather, and she's going to help us through the process of replacing these spark plugs. All gasoline combustion engines use spark plugs. The job of the spark plug, as the fuel air charge enters the combustion chamber, this plug receives electricity and creates a spark, which ignites that air-fuel charge and causes an explosion, which forces the piston downward. Now this is a wear part, and it's something that we're going to call maintenance. Now maintenance is something that you do, that you replace on a vehicle before it goes bad. Let's see how we do that. The first step in spark plug removal on this Chevy Cavalier is going to be to remove this dust cover from the top so that we can expose the spark plugs and the ignition coils. Before we remove this cover, we want to make sure that we disconnect any electrical connectors. In this case, we have one. So we can go ahead and take that off and pull this cover off. Once we get everything clear where we can get to the actual spark plug, we're going to use a special spark plug socket to get on the spark plug. We're going to put that on an extension because it goes deep down into the engine, and then we're going to put that on a ratchet. Now, this special spark plug socket is different because on the inside it's got a rubber grommet, and that holds on to the spark plug so it doesn't fall out. Most vehicles have the spark plugs down in the valve cover. Some vehicles actually have that on the side of the head instead of in the middle. In this case, we're going to use the spark plug socket to go down in the valve cover. If a spark plug has what looks like black soot all over the end that was in the engine, it's likely contaminated with fuel. It's likely fouled out. This, compared to a new plug, there's a big difference in these. To reinstall a spark plug, before we put this in, we're going to want to put anti-seize on this. And what that does, it keeps the spark plug from being seized in the head, hence the name anti-seize. Jason, will you hand me the anti-seize?
Hi, I'm on TV.
Hey, get out of here. Don't forget who the star is, okay. Me. Now, making sure that you don't have too much anti-seize on the threads, you're going to go ahead and put the spark plug in that socket. Make sure it's seated. That way you can put it in the engine. The grommet holds the spark plug in place so it doesn't fall down in the engine. A quick twist, and that should be seated. Once it's finger tight, you're going to want to put a ratchet on there and torque that down. Not too tight, but tight enough so it doesn't come out. On this engine, we'll repeat this process for all 4 cylinders. While Jasmine's going back together with this, it's time for a tech tip. You ever had an issue where you had to have a door panel off on a crank window and couldn't get that crank off? Well, here's a neat trick on how to do that. Follow me. Traditionally, manual window cranks are really hard to get off. Well, with this trick, it comes off in a cinch. All you need is a shop rag. Now, an old dishcloth, piece of a t-shirt, any piece of cloth will work. Here's how it works. You'll take the edge, wrap that around, give it a couple of revolutions, To reinstall on this tapered nub, you simply put in and push, and it's locked in place. Well, looks like that's all we have time for today.
Yeah,
So,
I'm on TV again.
hey, get out of here. This is the pit stop, not the Ballinger stop. That's all we have time for today. Until next time, this is Tom Pitt reminding you to keep between the lines and the shiny side up.
Warning, the following displays graphic violence towards a shop rag. Viewer discretion is advised.
Cut.